Well, good afternoon. It's a Saturday special with the man from Castletown. He's got a view over the former seat of government. He's quite a figure on the metropolitan capital, if you know him. So, good afternoon, Marc Moorley. How's it going?
Hello, how are we? Very well. One of the most bizarrest introductions I've ever had, to be honest. But that's oh God, there we go. I told you I was like my grandfather on this. Honestly, this isn't going to work out well, man.
So, well, you're coming through loud and clear.
Good.
So, Marc, tell me. We had a chat before we came on air. Castletown is thriving today. Lockdown mania is finished.
Yes. I'm not sure what event has taken place. I don't see any deck chairs. That much is certain. But yeah, the walking areas and Costa for one has been absolute bun fight by the looks of things, which is great to see. And don't get me wrong, like I love seeing people with their people again, as it's been tearing everyone apart, obviously. However, I'm a half full glass guy, and it does worry me that we're not going to make it to the first, possibly because people are going to get a little bit loose and fast with the regulations. I hope that's not the case, but yeah, it looked busier than I've ever seen before out there today.
Tell me, did we have the masks of Zorro, or could it be a sorrowful state of no masks?
There was a differing range of masks and no masks. Which again, I suppose, it's a suggestion more than a regulation, isn't it? Despite the fact that we want it, so people will do what people will do, I suppose. I just hope it all works out. There's so many things that people want to be getting back doing and seeing their families and stuff. Me for one. So yeah. Well,
when you go to Castletown, some people would think you'd advise wearing a mask all year round. I think some people, should adhere to that, but we won't go there. But I tell you what, you did mention the deck chair. Okay, you mentioned deck chairs, and I absolutely love what's happened in Castletown Square when we've got the summer, when we've got people around, when we've got activities going on. You've got that secret pizza around the corner. We've got a bit of life. What's it all down to? Who's been driving that?
Without question, it's a combined effort. It's a combined effort from the people who have decided to maybe take a leap of faith and actually bring their business to the town. And more power to them people, because it's not an easy place to crack, I don't think. I think I mentioned before, it's not really a captive audience all the time here. And I think you realise that when you bring a business like these guys have done at Secret Pizza, like Dewin did at Compton Vaults, and various other places, you have to bring people in from outside of Castletown to Castletown to make it work, and they've done that fantastically. And then with the support of some of the ideas that the commissioners have put on with events and the little section out in the square, which I think has been absolutely taken on by people who have visited the town. You see children playing on the grass patch for hours, and the piano is out there, which I think I'll be sabotaging sometime later on this year. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a duet in together. That'd be good. But yeah, I think it's just a little bit less apathy in the town and a bit more positive thing. I mean, I know also there's the other side of the coin where the parking debate is an eternal grind. But at the end of the day, we've got to try and move things forward, and the town looks great. It really does, and there's still businesses coming.
So we did have the parking debate, and there was a lot of energy that went into that, but I'm not hearing anyone saying now that my takings were down 10%. I'm not sensing that.
Well, I suppose ultimately you would argue the point that could that be melded into the absolutely disappointing year that probably every business has had right across the board. So maybe it's a bigger fish to fry at the minute with the COVID situation as opposed to parking. I mean, originally there were some businesses that were seen to be said suffering, but they're still active. They're still here. They're still in the town. So I hope they can be overcome, and we can still generate what is equally a good tourist aspect in terms of people visiting the town. Let's just get the train down to Castletown. Let's jump on the bus and go to Castletown. That's what the place needs, and it's beautiful. You come out of these apartments here, you turn right and you walk along the coast and go to Langness. You turn left and you go to Scarlet. both absolutely outstanding walks. So.
Well, we did have a good run pre-lockdown too. The Manx people, I think they got out and did as much as they can. They spent some cash. Certainly, a lot of us who've got businesses in that service area noticed an uptake, and it was much welcomed. Yourself, I mean, just to put the viewers in the picture, you've actually got some tourism accommodation, haven't you? That's where you are in Castletown, yes. Just opposite the castle. I think we could just make it out in the background.
Yeah, you can. There are worse garden sheds about than this one.
Oh, blimey!
It's slightly better than B&Q.
One of the best preserved medieval castles in Europe, without a doubt. So you're well appointed, and you've had some good years in tourism, but like many of the accommodation providers, it's nearly a year ago now, isn't it, when you just got hit for 6. How have you got around it?
Yeah. We changed the business model, and it's as simple as that. Castle Apartments, we have 5 apartments on the site. They were strictly holiday let apartments. People would come and have weekends here, come here for summer holidays. Obviously, the GT crew. We'd have Dutch bikers all bunking in together. They are only 1 bedroom, but we have a sofa bed option, so you can fit 4 in the room. And again, the view out the back is Langness Peninsula and the bay, and then we've got the castle out the front. And it was just outstanding, the amount of people. Then we had Bread and Butter coming in with some of the local businesses that were sending contract workers over the island, and they'd come and stay with us for 4 or 5 nights through the week. And then we'd have the weekenders come and stay with us at the weekend. And it was just vibrant. From taking over the business from day one, we've had 9.3 on booking.com, and then we moved up to 9.7. So we've always had a peak review score, which has been great. And we were allowed to charge well, but fairly for what you get. And then that got stopped. And we changed the business model to then allow people to stay longer. We had one chap who ended up getting stuck over here because he couldn't get back to Ireland. Because he couldn't do the bounce to the UK and back to Ireland. He's literally been with us since March last year. And then we had a couple who were visiting their children from Sheffield, and they were a little bit older, so they had massive reservations about heading back to Sheffield. And they were with us since July. They've only just left now.
So you'll be like a lot of businesses on the island where you've had to adapt. You've had to steer yourself on another course. And tell me, what's your gut feeling about 2021? When do you think we'll open the gate, so to speak?
Well, again, I mean, I want to be positive, but equally with the positivity, I don't want to be disappointed. Again, with the 1st of February, I'm really praying that we can make it and make some inroads. And then obviously the next bastion is the borders, which I just really don't know when that's going to happen, because and I totally get the caution needed, because the UK is in absolute dire straits, and it doesn't seem to be taking any turns better, one day to another. So we have to look after ourselves, and if the Manx pound has to regenerate itself over and over again in the island, then that's the only way forward. With that said, I do firmly believe, and I hope that all tourist providers can sort of feel that when the borders do open, I really think we've got an opportunity of like a rebirth. Because people will be wanting to actively get away, and if marketed correctly, which I'm sure we will end up doing, this is an absolute haven to just escape to and get over here. So I really hope that the better days are yet to come, and they really will. It's positive in that way.
Tell me, when you think about tourists who come to the Isle of Man and they want to do things, what kind of tourism groups do you envisage would be the best for the island? What are you thinking? What sort of people would you like to be staying in your accommodation, that you'd like to see around the town? What are they going to be doing? What are the activities available? How competitive are we?
Rich ones. Just send me the rich ones. I don't care anything else. Just send the ones with loads of money. Well, one thing I don't see is a guy sat there on his computer shouting to Beryl that we should go here because there's horse trams, which is real frustration. That it seems to be a focal area of tourism. It's like we're not evolving sometimes when we have an output of media of that sort of type. But we are right across the board. We've got we've had golfing holidays from guys like yourself coming over and doing tours, and you've got 5 or 6 guys coming in, and they'll rent 2 or 3 apartments, and they'll just bounce here, get their head down. They'll be pinging around all over the island doing all the golf courses. We've got full wedding groups that have come over to see the family, and they'll be here for the weekend. Summer holidays have been a massive hit. Obviously the motorcycle push and events, they're just mobbed. We're just fully booked right through, and it's an amazing, if not difficult, few weeks to make the turnarounds in the rooms and stuff. But yeah, there's no perfect visitor for us. It really is just come and enjoy the place, and hopefully you'll want to come back. And the amount of people that have been on our social medias and said we're absolutely devastated that we can't visit you this year has been reassuring, because at least that those people that you remember probably will be coming back, and they will be telling their friends, look, there's an absolute gem here that's on our doorstep, and it's a ferry away. Let's go and do that. And I think ultimately
it really is a hidden gem, isn't it? So, but go on, finish what you're going to say.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I would like to see the government do is really sort of like almost guerrilla attack the likes of the Lake Districts and the other sort of areas like that twin the marketing campaign that is properly focused on challenging these places, and actually saying, hang on a minute, don't just think that there's only them. Have a look here. And I just don't think we do it well enough right now, and it's not out there enough. There are some fantastic people. Go away, Twitter. There are some fantastic people that have some amazing skill sets that I've worked with myself, that I think should be really speaking to government and really making a proper claim out there for bringing people here.
Perhaps the way we do things is a little sedate. I mean, I see that the European market is blessed with so many UK tourists who go away in groups, and they go away to these cities such as like Prague and Tallinn and Berlin and Amsterdam. And there's a general theme that you've got groups of folk who've got a spare bit of cash to spend, and they're spending it quickly on food and drink and an activity. Now, the activity, it doesn't have to be anything strenuous, but it's got to be something that's different and away from the norm. And if we can kind of capture that on the island, where there's going to be a lot of people in the UK, and we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, because 7 million people travel away from the UK each year to go on holiday. So let's get that straight. So if we can capture a fraction of that and somehow entice them over with cheap beer, would that work?
Well, the fast show did us no favours, did it? I mean, that really, well, it was a kidney punch, wasn't it, for years? But I mean, maybe there is that stigma attached. Are young people actually saying, "Hey guys, should we nip over to the Isle of Man and have a bit of a doozy around there?" And I don't think that is happening. Well, if at all, very often. And again, I think the style of marketing and our general focus on how we perceive ourselves needs to modernise a little bit, and also needs to be fresher. The biking routes around here and the walks and the various other things. They're just fantastic. But I was talking to the owner of the Halvard Hotel, which is the old Gresham, and I mean that's a spectacular place, and they've had a real, horrid time, because obviously they've just opened a brand new hotel. The promenade has absolutely devastated them, and then COVID. It's just been one long slog after another, and they're battling hard, as is everyone else. And Carl mentioned to me, why don't we have a bike show event? Why don't we have events like that? Why don't we have an air show event over Douglas Bay? Why are the things that aren't out there? Someone even mentioned to me, why haven't we ever established, a bit controversial, but why haven't we ever established a proper horse racing track or greyhound track? Because they ferry over to the island in the UK all the time. So why aren't we on that events list? And it's things like that you would say, all right, lads, should we go and watch the Manx National for a weekend? And they're things that aren't even talked about. They're not even on the horizon. They're not even entertained, as far as I'm aware. And it surprises me because we've got calendar windows, and when we seem to just hinge around the main 2 or 3 bike events, and then everything else is, well, we built it, they will come, and unfortunately they don't. They're not.
And there are things that we could build. I mean, you mentioned about cycling, which to a lot of people is not a, the cup of tea. It's a bit of a Marmite job, but imagine if you had a cycleway that went round Scarlet and joined up with Port St Mary, and then maybe took you all the way around the island. I mean, that just seems so simple, yet that the legislation says we can't do things like that.
It would be epic, wouldn't it? I mean, that's as simple as that. It would just be an epic sort of ride to take on. I think people would come and do it for a bucket list if it was something like that. And that's the other thing. We've got ambassadors off that sector that could push that out to millions of people with one simple tweet. But again, we just seem to be so restrictive in our output. And again, I think that perception needs to change, and needs to change fast, because I really think that the bounce back after COVID is a real opportunity to actually enter the tourism market with the likes of the Lake Districts and the other national parks and heritage places. We can enter that market at the same level, I feel, because we're all fighting for the same buns. So I don't see why we shouldn't enter the market in a positive aspect and really hammer home how impressive this place is. Get your ass here.
Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that the Lake District is going to be positively rammed, isn't it? And there's no question is that people will be bursting.
And they won't need to do much.
They'll be bursting.
Won't need to do much either, that's the thing.
They'll be bursting to go on holiday. And I think, with the likes of low-cost air travel, the likes of your Ryanairs and your EasyJets and so forth, the European market could be limited, and there's going to be a fear of going to Europe. And it could be that the UK public, can they afford to do that with the impact of the economic downturn? So the Isle of Man, we own the boat for a start. We own the boat. We could be doing wonders, couldn't we? We could.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And again, not everything is driven by marketing, but if we don't put ourselves out there and remind people how good it is, and that it's not just fast show orientated, mild flat cap drinking, area to go. I really think that would put us on the map for a massive big turnaround when this is all over. And again, I also think that people will hopefully look at us as a short stay location ahead of other places. I really do. So I really hope.
Well, Mark, it has been a fast show. That's 15 minutes gone, so we'll just cut it short now. Maybe we'll have a chat again, but thank you so much. It's been
absolutely lovely speaking to you, Jed.
Great to hear from the other side of the tourism track.
Hope I didn't swear. Thanks for the call.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Okay.